Hey everyone, welcome back to Choose Your Fighter, where we talk to state and local candidates who are running to flip seats from red to blue. Emily, introduce yourself, please. And when is your race?
Yes. So I'm Emily Gregory. I am running in Florida House District 87, which is coastal Palm Beach County. And the election is in 5.5 weeks. It's March 24th. It's a special election. Very exciting. And vote by mail ballots go out tomorrow. So we're in it.
Woo!
Yeah.
Man, that's soon. And that is
Yeah.
the president's district, right?
Indeed it
Like
is.
Mar-a-Lago.
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
Woo,
Yes.
you are.
All of Palm Beach Island. It is a high visibility race.
Yeah. So you're running for the state house, and I like to spotlight these races specifically because I feel like state and local elections are way more important than federal elections. They affect your daily life way more than the federal government does. So what is the like day-to-day responsibilities of someone in the Florida State House? Like what do you do all day?
Well, Amanda, preach. I could not agree more. I am personally very sick and tired of people just focusing and fixating and obsessing about federal politics when it is one level of government, and all of the things that most impact my life, your life, is happening at state and local. A state legislature, a definition of session is supposed to be 60 days. Last session went 105 days. It was the longest it ever went over. Yeah, and there's also 5 or 6 committee weeks leading up to it. So the fall, every other week, kind of October, November, December, was a committee week, and then session is a 60-day period. What is a state that's considered a part-time legislature? But that's really inaccurate. It is a full-time job. You have constituent services year-round, and I do think that's one of the structural problems with the legislature. I think there's more than one, but that is one of them, that it's considered part-time.
Right.
And that's a piece that I would like to change, because I think it defines the salary is $29,000 a year. So it attracts independently wealthy, it attracts retirees, and not people that are living and breathing your average Floridian, working family.
Virginia is the same. We have a 60-day session. I think our state house salary is $18,000. It hasn't been changed since like 2000, the year 2000. And it's the same issue. It's impossible to get working class or middle class representation because no one can afford to to run
Yeah,
or
18,000 is even worse.
it's really bad. So
Yeah.
you're a business owner and
Yes.
a mom of 3 kids, right? So this would be like a pretty heavy lift for someone with your life. What made you decide to go for it?
Yeah, so I've been feeling a call to serve in some capacity, probably since pandemic times. I think that was a real shift for many people, myself included. I had my youngest. I have 3 boys. My youngest was an infant at the time, so I really spent the next 5 6 years thinking about what impacted my life the most, what I think needed the most change, and where I could have the greatest effect. And state legislature for sure is where I landed. It's been since 2022 a Republican supermajority, which has resulted in extremist policy session after session. The session that's happening right now is no different. We see very culture war, very targeting immigrants, targeting LGBTQ families. That's really the focus of most legislation that's being proposed day in and day out, and nothing to solve the affordability crisis. I mean, there is a true affordability crisis in Florida, as there is in so many states right now. And even this session, looking at the results of 2025, you would think there might be a tilt towards the center, a tilt towards solutions, and there's not. It's the same. There's no reason to negotiate with the other side. I can tell you that they're not. And everyone, business community, every sector, every stakeholder wants the numbers to be closer, so that there actually has to be debate and consensus and meeting in the middle and better policy, because we're really suffering as Floridians as a result of an imbalance of power in Tallahassee.
So what would you be working on if you flip the seat, you go to the state house, like what's your priority one? You've only got 60 days theoretically. So what would you be
Well,
focusing?
so a little background on the race is that The incumbent got an appointment from the governor in mid-August. So a special election per our constitution should have been called within a couple days, a week. So weeks passed. No special election is called. The ACLU filed a lawsuit on behalf of a similar situation in Hillsborough County, Senate District 14. So that had been vacated a few days before House District 87. So we worked with the ACLU and filed our own lawsuit on behalf of the voters in District 87. And the governor had 3 weeks to respond to that petition and finally called the special election. He just called it at the end of October, and then he still pushed it out as far as possible. So the primary was January 13th, which was the first day of legislative session. And then the
Mm.
general is March 24th, which is scheduled to be a week and a half after legislative session ends. District 87 does not have representation, completely unnecessarily. There was 6 months to call a special election, call and have one. And but what the winner of District 87 will sit in on, which is very important, is a special April session on congressional redistricting. So
Mm.
the winner of 87 would have a chance to fight for democracy. So it's very important, this election. All elections are important. But even if the traditional session ends, which there's some debate whether it will or won't end on time, the congressional redistricting session will be, the first thing up for hopefully my state legislature career.
And then would you have to run again in November?
Yeah, girl.
Whew.
Yeah.
Busy year.
Yes. So it's pretty outrageous. There was a special election in Palm Beach County already on the books for December 9th. Delray Beach, my friend Rob Long won. So had the special election been called at a timely manner at all within, a couple months, um, we should have had representation because there was already a special election scheduled. So the election could have been in December, but it wasn't. And here we are. We have to deal with, life as it comes.
Yeah. So what do you wish then this session would have focused on, since you won't be
Mm,
in, theoretically, maybe you won't be in time to push like affordability legislation or anything like that. What would you prefer they be working on? I mean, I know Florida has like a housing crisis. A
yes.
lot of places do, but yours is very specific to Florida. Like it's weather driven and property insurance, right?
So property insurance is such a problem. I will tell you that our personal insurance is up over 300%, which is a large thing to absorb into your household. And what's maddening is that it's not like it's taxes and conceivably you're getting more services for it. It's the same coverage. And in fact, in that time period, we had a new roof put on. So our house is, quantifiably safer, and we're paying 3 times, nearly 4 times as much for our property insurance. And that's just statewide. Everyone has seen the spikes. The right would tell you that it's solved, like nothing to see here, like we should be seeing relief. And, I knock on 50 doors, and not to a person are they experiencing said relief. It's an imagined solution, and we need a real bold policy solution, something like a state catastrophic fund in which we self-insure as a state against wind mitigation and hurricanes. There's another proposal from an ally of mine in the statehouse in which states with different natural disasters band together and pool risk. I think Kansas, like Tornado Alley, something like
Yeah.
that is a actual policy solution, not what they would call a solution. I would call really more of a gift to the insurance companies. So we need to hold insurance companies accountable. We need real policy solutions, bold policy solutions. We need to, of course, address climate change, which here on the coast, impacts us daily, the rising sea level.
It is wild to me that they're trying to tell you that it's fixed. Like, that's so gaslighting. I was just in Florida, South Florida, for vacation,
Hmm.
and we were driving, what that highway that goes from Miami to Key West. And I
Hmm.
swear it was like every other house that we passed was for sale. And I looked it up. My partner noticed, and he is not like as plugged in politically as I am. He doesn't pay as much attention.
Yeah.
But he noticed, he was like, "Why are all these houses for sale?" And I'm on Google and I'm like, "It sounds like a property insurance problem. Like people are leaving the state and selling their properties and their vacation homes and their investment properties as well."
It impacts every single one of us because so there's those of us that, are lucky enough to be homeowners. We also are lucky that we purchased just before the pandemic, right? It would be hard for me, truthfully, to purchase my home today. So ours is increased, astronomically. And then on the other end, the first time buyer, I talk to a would be first time buyer probably once a week who cannot enter the market because combined with the property insurance and then plus the taxes with homesteading, a home that had been home owned 30 years, when the homesteading expires, when it goes on the market, the combination there can be greater than the note. I mean, it's crazy. The insurance and the taxes can be more than what they're paying on their home. So it's really a barrier to entry. A family like mine can't ever purchase a larger home, right? We are in the home that we're in, which is fine. We have we're lucky. We, in a more stable market would probably want a bigger house for our family of five. Um, and then, on the far end, seniors on a fixed income being forced from their home. So it really is impacting every single person. And of course, a
Mm,
renter is just bearing that cost with an increased rent. I mean, everyone is going to be impacted by this property insurance crisis. And we need balance in the legislature, which my seat could help move us towards that and move the barometer for the midterms. So that's why this race is so important.
yeah, that is wild. I didn't know that the price of the taxes and the insurance was more than the mortgage, and of
Yes,
course,
it
it's
can be.
affecting the renters. That makes total sense.
Hmm.
Landlords are just passing that cost on to their
Of course.
renters.
Yep.
So, how could your office, zooming out to the federal, because people do want to hear about that? How could your office push back against what's going on at the federal level right now? I mean, even if you broke the supermajority, there would still be they would still have the majority. Republicans would still have a majority in Florida, but you'd be making moves towards some
Yes.
progress here. Yeah,
Feel far, far improved experience we
yeah,
got when we get out of the super. I'm gonna say when, because we have to.
yeah.
Say
And
when.
I assume DeSantis and the state legislature aren't doing anything to push back against what's happening at the federal level, like ICE presence or anything in Florida.
No, I mean, it's a wild dynamic because the speaker, the governor, and the president all have personal feuds, but none of them are, on moving towards a kinder, fairer Florida, which is what I believe the people of District 87 and Floridians at large are looking for and wanting and clamoring for. Um, you know, leg- Leaders and legislators that are willing to stand up to special interests and stand up and fight for lowering housing costs, expanding healthcare, not retracting healthcare,
Yeah.
and strengthening our public school system. That is where the center is. That is where District 87 is. And I think that's where Florida at large is. But it is not where our leadership and our administration is.
What would you like to see to strengthen schools in your district?
Yeah, so that's probably my biggest issue as to why I did, in fact, file. I have three boys in Palm Beach Public Schools, and we purchased our home in the best school. We wanted them to go to these schools in Abacoa where we live. They've always had waitlist 5-star schools. So we have a universal voucher program, like other states. I think ours is one of the worst I'm aware of. We incentivize corporate schools. We incentivize homeschool. So the PEP scholarship um, refunds about $10,000 per child in the homeschool environment. And then we have two different sets of standards. So we have a rigorous set of standards for public schools, so including teacher credentialing, measuring and reporting student outcomes, uh, offering accommodations to children with learning differences. And then the corporate schools and the homeschools, none of those requirements. There's no
Mm,
curriculum required. There is no data on student outcomes. So we are seeing real learning losses in the children that are outside the public schools, and our public schools are being gutted. That's these schools that had wait lists forever are now 20% vacant, 25% vacant. I mean, it is a crisis in public education, and then the children are the ones paying for it, you know?
Yeah, that's a shame.
It's
That's
not
all
great.
kind of fun.
It's not great. There's an even
So what can
crazier
people
thing called Schools of Hope, and that, is 5 charters of sort of a gift from the legislature. They can deem that there is vacancy in a public school. How they've deemed that is unclear. The private for-profit school deems this. They can invade, is my word, but it is also accurate, invade that school, take up classrooms, and use all the shared services, janitorial, HVAC, think toilet paper, use all of the shared services and no background requirements for the teachers, no curriculum, do whatever they want, and report as much profit as they want on the presence of a public school. That is
there's
a policy.
no like the hiring credentials don't apply. So the kids in the public school are like just around these random adults.
So the kids in the public school are in this classroom, and then School of Hope has taken this classroom and is using all of the public goods that a taxpayer is paying for, and then making money and with no standard curriculum, no credentialed teacher required. I mean, is that not bad? That's crazy. That is nuts.
That is
It's
a
cr-
wild.
yeah,
Okay, so let's keep you
schools
in
of
this
hope.
seat.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what can people do to help
yes.
you? I mean, not everyone watching you here on my channel is going to be in your district. So inside and outside of your district, what are the best ways people can support you?
Yeah, so the election is around the corner. We have, because it is a supermajority, will be a spending gap between my Republican counterpart. He is Trump endorsed. Trump has put out at
Mm.
least 2 truth socials about him, and I think it's actually will increase.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I think it's
so
480. He starts doing that.
he like goes typey 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 typey.
Yeah.
So yeah, so donations are of course very welcome. You know, we can link here. Then anyone that wants to phone bank, that is also a super great way, super low lift to get engaged. So basically, you know, how we operate is we're a lean, mean, strategic machine, and we are canvassing, phone banking, raising funds. Go back to the top of that. Canvas, I mean,
Mm.
that just keep it really, really focused. And that is how we win. We're disciplined. I'm at about 250,000 fundraising, which is honestly, it's increased significantly since the primary. I feel like I clawed and scraped for every dollar for that first 100, and now it's like, okay, so like other people are caring, but like care quickly because we just like put a mail order in, today. So donations and phone banking would be incredibly helpful if you're outside the district. And if you are in Florida, come knock some doors. They're really friendly doors. In a special election, it's a turnout game. So
Yeah.
we are knocking Democrats and MPAs with a 65 plus Democratic score. So, you knock the door. One, there's almost no chance they know there's a special election. So that's what I say. Do you know there's a special election happening right now? I say, no, I'm so glad I'm here. Well, I'm a Democrat and I'm running. And they're like, bless, like, praise you. Like, I know. I was like, and the
Thank you
better
so
news
much.
is it's looking good for us. So let's all make sure you vote. Make sure 3 friends vote. So yeah, so I would love everyone to get engaged. I do hope this will be a big win before the midterms for Democrats in the state and Democrats nationwide, and I'm very, very excited about it. I mean, we knock on everything. We got to keep it at this level, but we have reasons to be optimistic.
And you said early voting starts tomorrow?
Vote by mail starts
Vote by
tomorrow.
mail.
Yeah, yeah. Vote by mail ballots is a huge strategy. So all of our walk cards have a BBM re-enrollment. Um, so that is a really key piece. And then to make it trickier, many of our municipalities have municipal elections on March 10th. March 10th. And then 2 weeks later is the state house. So it's another strategy too. Cute.
Cute.
Charming. Yeah.
They're
So yeah,
nothing if not.
people have told me like, "Oh, I've got my ballot for you." I'm like, You actually haven't? They go out Friday, so look for a second ballot. I mean, the supervisor election has done the best they can. They put like a yellow tab on one, a purple on the other, but the governor chose to have them 2 weeks apart and not link them. So here we are. Of course.
All right, well, we'll do what we can. And good luck to you, and thank you so much for talking to me.
Amanda, this was such a pleasure. Thank you for having me.